Hello again, it's me, George, and today I would like to talk to you about different things, but all the things are related to mathematics. I'm in high spirits. It's just perhaps because I have had a nice stroll with a friend of mine, and today we visited the downtown area of the city. And while we were enjoying our conversation with each other, we popped into a different number of uh, bookshops, and in one of them, I got a very nice book. It's a GMAT book. Well, I'm pretty sure that you know what it means. Here it is, GMAT. Okay, and it contains a number of interesting questions. All of them are supposed to evaluate your competence, not only in English but in algebra too. It checks your ability to apply the theoretical input you've got when you deal with the uh, examination questions. And I thought to myself that it would be a very nice opportunity for you to do the same things. Why not? Some of you may have a math exam, and why not? Okay. And I have prepared the questions, some of them at least, and I do hope that you like them, just like me. Well, hold on a second, please. The first question will appear on the screen of your computers in no time. Here it is. So we've got an equation is given. It's x times y is positive, which means it's more than zero. And the question is, which of the following cannot be true? And we've got five options to choose from. The first one is x is negative. Well, let's think critically. We know that the product of the two variables, we've got two variables, I hope they can see that, variable x and variable y, and the product of the two variables is positive. And if the variable x happens to be negative, in this case, y, the variable y, should be negative too. Agree? I hope that you do. Uh, in this case, y should be negative. And in this case, if we multiply two negative variables, the product of the multiplication will be positive. So it's okay. It can be. So let me put a plus. So it's a possible situation. The same way of thinking is applicable in option B. If y is positive, that means that x must be positive too. And because only in this case is the multiplication of the two variables positive. Okay. Now, option C seems to be confusing. To some extent, it does, but it only seems to be. Let's take some manipulations. Let's put y onto the right part of the equation. And when we do this, we should bear in mind that in this case, we should change the sign onto the negative. What I mean is that y in the left part of the equation is positive, as you can see. And if I put it on the right part of the equation, it will become negative. So I can write x is less than minus y. And these two inequations are identical. Well, I guess that this one is easy to deal with. Let's do that. You may say, oh, it looks different. Actually, it doesn't. And to prove that it's okay, let me choose a couple of particular values to show you that it's okay. For example, let's take x, the value of x, which is equal to, okay, let be minus 4. And the value of y, minus y, which is more than minus 4, can be, for example, minus 2. Okay. minus 2. And in this case, if we multiply minus 4 to minus 2, we will get 8, and it is positive. So it's okay. It's okay. Now, let's take a look at option D. The division of the two variables is positive. Actually, it's okay. It is really all right because it's, I would say, a consequence, logical consequence of these. For example, let me show you this. So we've got this equation, x times y is more than 0. If we divide the two parts of the equation by y, we will get, not by y, but y squared. Yeah, we will get x. And we got it. It's okay. Uh, Perhaps this way of thinking is not a very good one, but I hope that you understand that if the multiplication of the two variables is positive, the division of the two variables is positive too. And which is not possible, which is impossible, is this one. This one. Well, it cannot be, because in this case, an equation means that the two variables have different signs, which means that either x is negative and y is positive, is the first possible situation. Or the other possible situation is that x is positive, but y is negative. In either of the two cases, the multiplication of the two variables will be negative, but it contradicts what we've got in the question. For that reason, the right answer is E, option E. It's impossible. I hope that my way of logic, my way of thinking is comprehensible for you too. Okay, let me proceed to the next question. Now let's proceed to the next question from the booklet. So the price of a suit is reduced by $100 to a new price of $400. The percentage of change in the price of the suit is, okay, it's not a very problematic solution to deal with. So the new price is $400, right? That means that the initial price was $500, right? It's 400 plus 100, and we've got $500, and that is the initial price of the suit. So the initial price of the suit is $500. The reduction of the price of it, yes, the change is $100. So how much is it in percentage? It's a fifth, okay, and a fifth, we change this fraction into percentage by multiplying the fraction to 100, and we've got 20%. And the right answer is A. It's easy. Or we can use proportion. So why not $500? It's 100%, right? And $500 is 100%, and $100 is X, okay? Proportion. Okay. And 20. As you can see, the answer is the same. There are different ways to get the right answer, but the right answer still will be the same. So let's proceed to the next question. Here it is. So we've got the following. If this is equal to this number, so we are expected to find the value of this sum, a plus b. I hope that you see immediately what we can do and what we should do. All we need to do, first of all, is to multiply this number to this one, and we will get, but we remember that 0.02 is equal to 2 times 10 raised to minus 2. Okay, and in this case, if we multiply this number to this one, we will get 2 times 10 raised to minus 2 times 1.3, and we will get 2.6 times 10 raised to minus 2. Okay. Then we multiply this number to this one, and that will give us the following. The base remains the same, it's 10, but we sum the decrease, a plus b. And finally, we can write that the left part of this is equal to 2.6 times 10 raised to minus 2 times 10 raised to 8 plus b, and it's equal to 2.6 times 10 raised to 3. Okay, to the third degree. So these two get cancelled. Okay. The bases are the same for that reason we sum these two, and that means that a plus b minus 2 is equal to 10 raised to the third. Okay. The same. The bases are the same. For that reason, we can write that a plus b minus 2 is equal to 3, and a plus b is equal to 5. For that reason, the right answer is A. Now let's proceed to the next question. Here it is. So we got the following. If x squared plus 7 times x plus 10 divided by x plus 2 is equal to 8, what's the value of x plus 1? So the strategy of this question is clear. First of all, we should identify the value of the root of this equation, and then add a 1, and we'll get the right answer. How can we do this? So the first step is to pay attention to the numerator, because it contains quadrant equation, x squared plus 7 times x plus 10, right? And we can do something with this, right? Why not factorize? We can write that x squared plus 7 times x plus 10. We can apply the theorem of Viet, and that will give us the following: x plus 5 times x plus 2, right? So we have just applied the theorem of Viet, and now we can rewrite it. X plus 5 times x plus 2 divided by x plus 2 is equal to 8. The two parts cancel, and we got the simplest equation to deal with. X plus 5 is equal to 8, which means that the value of the variable is equal to 3, 8 minus 5. And 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. For that reason, the right answer to this question is 4. I mean D, sorry. So let's proceed to the next question. Here it is. In a certain state, a person may inherit up to 50 grand tax-free. but any amount in excess of this sum is taxed at a rate of 8%. If Mike inherits a total of 75,000 US dollars, how much tax will he have to pay? Okay, let's do that. We see that the sum of 75,000, of course, is more than 50,000, right? That means, the symbol means that's why. That means that we have to take into account the taxation rate, which is equal to 8%. But the question is, of what sum should we calculate the percent? We've got two, 75,000 and 50,000 US dollars. So which of the two? The answer is neither, because according to the legislation of this state, financial legislation, the amount of 50,000 is off any taxation, right? For that reason, we should subtract 50,000 from 75,000, and we will get 25 grand, 25,000 of US dollars. This is the sum which is under the taxation. We can write that 25,000 we should multiply to 8 and divide by 100 because it's percent. In this case, we got 2,000. This is the answer. So let's proceed to the next question. It's even not a question, but a more serious problem. The chess club sold raffle tickets for $1 each. One member sold 75% of his tickets and what? And had why did I write like this? I'm sorry. And had 8 tickets left. How much money did the member collect? How much money did the member collect? So that means that we should identify the number of the tickets, raffle tickets he sold, that 75%. Okay, we know that totally he had initially, he had 100% of the raffle tickets in his pocket, right? And 75% of that number was sold, and 25% corresponds to 80 tickets, right? To 80 tickets. In this case, we can make the following proportion. 25% corresponds to 80 tickets, and 75% corresponds to X tickets. Okay. So 25 is 3 times as little as 75. For that reason, we should multiply 80 to 3 in order to know the number of tickets he sold. It's 240. That's the number of raffle tickets which he sold. And if each costs $1, that means that how much he collected. Yes, how much money did the member collect? So he got $240, and the answer is D. I hope that you're still with me, and let's proceed to the next problem. Here it is. If one side of a square is increased by 5 inches and the other is decreased by the same number of inches, a rectangle is formed. It's clear, I hope. Whose area is 56 square inches. What's the perimeter of the original square? So let it be like this. So we've got it here. Okay, and this is the original square, and the length or the width is just the same for a square, of which is equal to x inches. Okay. Now, if we transform this into a rectangular, let's do it. The width of this is x plus x sorry x minus 5, and the length of this rectangle is x plus 5, right? And we remember that the area of rectangular is the multiplication of the width and the length of this shape, geometrical shape, or geometrical figure. Okay, length times width, and we got x minus 5 times x plus 5, and that's equal to 56. We got an equation. It's equal to x squared minus 25. I hope that you understand why it's like this. And x squared is equal to, we put it here, changing the sign. It was minus 55 on the left, and it will become plus 25 on the right. And 56 plus 25 gives 81. That means that x is equal to square root out of 81, that is 9. And the perimeter of the square is equal to 4 times x, because the number of the elements of the square is 4. It's 36. But that was the right answer is A. Let's proceed to the next question. Your tease. Okay. A pool can be filled with pipe A alone in 8 hours. Using pipe B alone, the pool can be filled in 12 hours. If the taps of the two pipes are turned on, how many hours will it take to fill the pool? In other words, when the two pipes work together, how long will it take to get the pool filled with the water? Well, it's a very good question, and usually a lot of students, both from the USA and from other countries, are afraid of such questions because they require some kind of mathematical thinking. Okay, I'll try to give you a good way, a good, maybe a good input. We are asked about the length of time it will take the pool to be filled with water, right? And that means that we deal the with the question of how fast the pipes work. And in this case, we need to work out the question of the speed of the work of each of the pipes. In this case, we've got two variables. V, that's velocity of pipe A, right? And we've got V, the velocity of work of pipe B, okay? For example, the whole work or the amount of work, in this case, maybe not the amount of work, but the amount of the volume, yes, that would be the volume. The volume of the pool is V, big V, okay? In this case, the velocity of the work of part A is the distance divided by time, right? But instead of distance, we use the volume. In this context, is the same. T sub A. V remains, but T times A is equal to 12. The same is applicable to part B. The speed of its work is equal to the volume of the pool divided by the time it takes to get the pool filled with water when only pipe B is working. Now, logically, we should understand that when the two pipes are activated, when the two are working together, the total speed of the work is the sum of the two because they work together, right? Okay. And in this case, when the two pipes work together, the time it takes to get the pool filled with water is the volume of the tank divided by the common velocity v, and v is equal to va plus vb, right? But va is equal to v divided by 12, and vb is equal to v divided by 8. Yes, I can put v in the denominator out of the brackets, and I'll get 1 over 12 plus 1 over 8. These two get cancelled, and I've got 1 divided by the sum of the two fractions. And the rest to be done is very easy, I hope. As I thought, it's no comment. 2 plus 3, 5 over 24. 24 goes upwards, and we've got 24 divided by 5, and that's 4 and 4 out of 5. This is the answer. For that reason, the answer is D. Let's proceed to the next question. Here it is. A little bit geometry, right? The figure will consist of two circles, one enclosed into the other. If the area of the smaller circle is 25% of the larger circle's area, and OB is equal to 12 inches, find the value of the length of OA in inches. So let's do that. We remember that the area of a circle can be calculated as pi times its radius squared, right? Okay. So let's call it no a subcircle, but a max. Okay, and that's equal pi times OB squared. Okay, and OB is equal to 12. For that reason, is pi times 12 squared. Okay, now the area of the smaller a sub min is equal to pi times OA squared, because the radius of the smaller circle is OA, and we understand that a sub min is equal to 25% in terms of fraction is a fourth times of the area of the larger circle. Let's substitute. So instead of a min, we write pi times OA squared is equal to a fourth times, instead of a sub max, we write pi times 12 squared. Okay. So in this case, we get pi's cancelled, and OA is equal to a square root of 12 squared out of 4, divided by 4, right? The square root of out of this fraction. That means 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. For that reason, the right answer is C. Now let's proceed to the next problem. It's an interesting one. So it says that tile was purchased to replace flooring at a cost of $1.20 per tile, and only 5 out of 8 of the tiles were needed. So the remaining 60 tiles were returned for a refund. What was the cost of the tiles for the floor? In other words, we are supposed to calculate the sum paid for covering the floor with the tiles. Let's do that. We have fractions. Those of you who are accustomed to dealing with person, so you can transform fractions into percent easily, but you'd better not do that. Now, we've got fraction 5 out of 8. 5 out of 8, this is the fraction, which means the number of the fraction of tiles used to cover the floor. Okay. Now, if we take 1, which in work we understand that 1 corresponds to 100% of the total number of the tiles purchased. If 1 corresponds to the total number of the tiles purchased, and 5 out of 8 corresponds to the fraction or to the number of tiles used, then if we subtract 5 out of 8 from 1, we will find the fraction which corresponds to the number of those tiles which were not used, which were returned. Again, 3 out of 8 is not a number of tiles returned, but it corresponds to this number, okay? And we know the exact number of tiles, of the tiles returned. So 3, 8 corresponds to 60 tiles, okay? And 5 out of 8 corresponds to the number of tiles used to cover the floor. And we need to find out the number of the tiles which corresponds to this fraction. As you can see, we have just got a very simple, in my opinion, a very simple operation which we can do in order to find the value of this variable x. 3 out of 8 corresponds to 60, and 5 out of 8 corresponds to x. It's a proportion. And that means that the product of this number to this one is equal to the product of this one to this one. In other words, 3 out of 8 multiplied to x is equal to 5 out of 8 multiplied to 60. In order to make this the further calculations easier, we can multiply the both parts of this equation to 8 in order to say goodbye to these to the two denominators. In other words, we've got 3 times x is equal to 5 times 2, 6, right? And x is equal to 5 times 60 divided by 3. And it's equal to 100. Now we know the number of tiles which were used for flooring. And if 1 tile costs $1.20, if we multiply the cost to the total number of the tiles used for the flooring, we will get the sum. $120 for that, right? For that reason, the correct answer, the correct options to be chosen is C. Now let's proceed to the next problem. It takes 12 people 15 hours to complete a certain job. How many hours would it take 18 people working at the same rate to complete 2/5 of the same job? It's a very interesting assignment to deal with because it checks your ability to think logically. Okay, let's do that. So in the beginning, I just want to give you a word of advice. Whenever you are dealing with a similar problem, when two people or two working items are involved into working, into doing something together, the first thing you should do is to identify or to draw the formula of the rate. In this particular case, we've got a situation when we've got two groups of peoples. The first group of people is made up by 12 people, and the other group of people is made up by 18 people. But the problem says that the representatives of the two groups work at the same rate. For that reason, all we need to do is to the first thing is to identify the rate of the work, because it'll be the same for the both groups. So the rate, let us denote this through the letter V, which comes from the word velocity, I guess. So V is equal to the total volume of the work, capital V, divided by the number of people and the length of the time it takes them to get through the work. Okay. V remains itself, but N is equal to 12 people, while T is equal to 15 hours. Okay, 15 hours. That's the velocity of the work. And now we need to calculate T. When 18 people work at the same rate. The difference is that we've got this time not 12 but 18 people. It's not a big problem. And V in this case is not V, but only a part of it. And this part is represented by the fraction. Let's say that it's a V prime divided by 18 people N prime, okay, and the rate V. But V prime is 2/5 of the total work V. N prime is not 12 people this time, but it's equal to 18 people. And V is this expression. It's V over 12 and 15. The two V get cancelled, and we've got 2/5, 18. And these two numbers go up to the numerator. Okay. Okay. And we've got 4 hours. The right answer is 4 hours. And it corresponds to option B. Okay, let's proceed to the next question. It's the following. The team has wins, losses, and draws in the ratio of 7-8 and 2-3. If they played a total of 108 games, how many games did they win? It's a typical assignment which checks your ability to apply fractions in order to make correct calculations. Now, let's start from identifying the fraction which corresponds to the um, to the uh, to the wins. We've got 7, 2, 8, and 2, 3, right? 7 corresponds to uh, wins, 8 corresponds to losses, and 3 corresponds to draws. Okay. The sum of these three numbers is equal to 18, right? And that means that the fraction which corresponds to the wins is equal to 7 out of 18. That's the fraction which corresponds to the number of the wins when the team took the prize. Okay. Now, what do we do in order to find the number of the wins? We should multiply this fraction to the total number of the games. Okay, and that equals to oh my god, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6, 42, 42, and that is the answer, D. Let's proceed to the next question. Janine purchased 2 items at the grocery store for a total of $5.13. One item cost 63 cents less than the other item. What was the cost of the more expensive item? Well, the shortest way to get the right answer for this problem is to use simple algebra by introducing the variable x. So let x be the cost of the more expensive item. Okay. And now we know. I just want you to understand that in algebra, everything is clear. Everything is known. For example, x is the price, is the cost of the more expensive item. In this case, we can write the expression which denotes the price of the less expensive, the cheaper item. It's equal to x minus 0.63. We also should bear in mind that we should write the costs in dollars and not in cents. And 63 cents corresponds to 0.63 because there are 100 cents in $1. For that reason, we should divide 63 to, by 100, and we will get to this number. So x is the cost of the more expensive item, while x minus 0.63 is the cost of the less expensive item. Less expensive item. The two totally gives us the sum of 5.13. We can write that x, again, which is the cost of the more expensive item, plus the sum of money the purchaser paid for the less expensive is equal to 5.13. That means twice x minus 0.63 is equal to 5.13. 5.76, right? and x is equal to 5.76 halved. And that means that it's equal to 2.88. I guess so. Yeah, that's right. And for that reason, the answer is B. Let's proceed to the next question. The same Janine. Yeah, Janine wants to enclose a rectangular garden adjacent to the garage by using 10 feet along the garage as one side. She will have to purchase fencing for only 3 sides. If she wants to enclose 120 square feet, how many feet of fencing will she need? Okay, let's draw some scheme of this. We've got a rectangular, yeah, a garage will be like this. Okay, and we know that let be the width of the garage is equal to 10 feet. Okay, and we got an adjacent garden. Okay, so this is garage, and this is garden. It's garden. It's a garden. Okay, the square, the area of the garden is 120 square feet. Square feet. Okay, and we know that uh, the width of this garden is the same as the one of the garage, and that means that we can calculate the length of the garden, because we remember that the area of a rectangular is equal to uh, the production of the length and the width and the length. Okay, in this case, L is the length is equal to the area of the garden divided by its width. So 120 square feet is divided by 10 feet, and we got 12 feet long. The garden is 12 feet long, but we understand perfectly well that she doesn't need to buy fencing for this part because it's blocked by the garage. And all she needs to buy is the length of this length, this width, and this length. In other words, she needs double length plus single width. We have just calculated the length. It's equal to 12, so it's double 12 plus 10. It means 34 feet. That's the answer. If I'm not mistaken, yes, it should be like this. 120 we divide by 10. Yeah, basically to 12, 20, 12, 24 plus 10, 34. Now let's proceed to the last but not least assignment. Run times at an average rate of 40 words per minute, while pass rate is 60 WPM. If Ron begins typing a manuscript at 20 minutes past 4, and Pat begins typing out an identical copy of the same manuscript at 5 o'clock sharp, at what time will they be typing the same word? It's a very interesting problem. Okay. I hope that you understand that Ron starts typing faster 40 minutes before Ron does. Why 40 minutes? Because she starts at 5 o'clock while Ron starts at 4:20. That means that within 40 minutes, Ron has been typing, right? Has been typing. Okay. And how many words has he typed within the time? We should multiply 40 minutes to his typing rate, which is equal to 40 words per minute. And we'll get 1600 words. That's the number of the words Ron has typed before Pat starts doing the same thing. In other words, he's got some kind of supply before they both start typing simultaneously. Okay. Then they do the typing within the same length of time. Both are typing within the same. It's very important to bear in mind the same length of time. That'd be t. Okay. And within this period of time, how many words does he types? 40 times t. That's the number of words Ron types within t minutes. But he has already typed 1600 words. For that reason, totally, the number of words Ron has typed is equal to 1600 plus 40t. Okay. Now, what about the other person by name? What's her name? Pat. The number of words she types is equal to 60t because she types at the rate of 60 WPM. That means that within t minutes, she types 60 times t words. And the question is that at what time will they be typing the same word? The same word, that means that the number of the words both typers have been typing is the same. And we've got the equation 1600 plus 40 times t is equal to 60t. And that means that t is equal to 80 minutes. 80 minutes. What does it mean? 80 minutes is 1 hour 20 minutes. It means that we should add this to this in order to answer this question. 4 hours 20 plus 1 hour 20 gives 5 hours 40. It means that at 5:40, both Ron and Pat will be typing the same word. That's the answer.